Hello and welcome to the video for 5th grade for March the 31st. This is Mr. Parks. I hope everyone has had a wonderful spring break and a nice restful time and enjoying the wonderful weather outside. Stay tuned to the end of this for an additional message for the parents. I do owe you guys a problem from lesson 14, so I'm going to start with that one. And my apologies for forgetting that. So this was number 13 from, I believe it was lesson 14. We need to find the sum of 3/6 and 2/3. We're going to be doing something similar with that today. So hopefully this will help remind us what we will be working on for today. So could I multiply the denominators together to get parts over 18 to find a common denominator? Explain why we may not want to do this. So the answer is yes, you may not want to. It'd be much easier to multiply 2/3 side by 2 to get parts over 6. So that would give us 3/6 plus 4/6. You do less work as a result, and you won't have to reduce the answer when you get finished. So let's take a look at our answers for today. So number one, Meg bought 2 pieces of ribbon. One piece was 3/5 of a yard long. The other piece was 1/2 a yard long. So I can go ahead and find a common denominator of 10 and get 6/10 plus 5/10, and that would give me 11/10 or 1 1/10 of a yard. Number 3, Atticus and Haley are both reading the same book. Atticus has read 7/9 of the book, and Haley has read 2/3, which is going to change to 6/9. How much of the book has Atticus read more than Haley? That would be 1/9 of the book. Number 2, so we can use this to kind of help us out. This kind of shows us a starting point for each of them, and then we can use this to add both of them together. So if anybody was confused on how the diagram was supposed to work, that's what they were intending with that. So if I take 3/4 plus 1/8, that is going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eighths of a cup. Number 6, Nana wants to paint her bedroom walls light blue. We're going to mix paint to do that. And so we want to take 3/8 plus 1/2 gallon and look for different ways that we can mix and match and get our answer, which would be 7/8. So 1/2 changes to 4 parts over 8. 4/8 plus 3/8 gives us 7/8. So if I do 5/8, change this from 1/4 to 2/8, that would give us 7/8. 6/8 plus 1/8, I'm just going to give the converted amounts, does work. 1/8 plus 5/8 does not work, that only gives us 6. 1/8 plus 2 gives us 3/8, so that doesn't work. 3/8 plus 4/8 does work. And if I look at this one, I would just go ahead and divide this by 3 and do 3/8 plus 1 and a fictional part over 8, and that one will not be nearly enough. Number 7, Cade makes 5/6 of a cup of salad dressing, uses 2/3 of a cup. So if I take this, multiply the top and bottom number by 2, that gets me 4/6. How much salad dressing? That would be 1/6 of a cup. Number 9, I've written this off to the side. This is what we are looking for. Kate is planting a garden. She plants 3/10 of her garden with herbs, and 3/5, which changes to 6/10 of her garden, will be vegetables, and the remainder of the garden will be planted with flowers. So I've already used 3/10 for herbs, 6/10 for vegetables, which means I have 1/10 of the garden left to plant for flowers, so that will help us answer our questions. 1/5 of the garden is flowers. That is false because it would be 1/10. 9/10 would be herbs and vegetables. That is correct. 7/10 will be flowers and vegetables. So our flowers would be worth 1/10. The vegetables would be worth 6/10. So that is correct. And 3/10 of the garden is flowers and herbs. That is not correct. It would be 4/10. And our last one, I have kind of written this down. So I'm working with a common denominator of 24. I'm not going to spend as much time talking, but the actual answer that I got came out to 43/24, which changes to 1 19/24. For the benchmark, I decided to take 1/3 and round it to a half, because if I have one part out of 3, and let's say I change it to parts over 6, I have 2 parts over 6. Half would be 3 parts over 6, so I'm 1 part closer to being halfway there. However, if you rounded it backward to 0, we also would still have a reasonable estimate. So we would have 1.5, and it would be slightly more than 1.5 as we look at part C. Again, you can kind of pause and take a look at that for yourself. So those were the answers for today. So my announcement, again, please check emails, and Class Dojo will have a message later on in the week about this as well. I'm going to start sending home packets with information from Go Math as well as additional review. I will be doing recorded lessons that will be live 8 a.m. For the morning that your student will be working on the lesson, so they can watch that and be able to go through that, the practice problems with me before trying the homework. I'll also send information for Go Math if students want to do an online lesson for practice as well. So the remainder of the work will be just kind of review. For the moment, it won't include anything from the OPC math book, but it may in the future. So hope everyone has a great day, and hope you've enjoyed your spring break, and I will see you all tomorrow.